Hello, Girl Gang. This is Amber Vargas, founder and owner of Girl Pursuit, and this is episode 21. Now, I say episode 21 because I've come to realize that there's not really much of a need for seasons, and I'm making this correction right off the bat for this new episode because I'm human, I make mistakes, and here we go, and that's okay. And I'm here to say this is episode 21. I already have had 20 episodes. This is number 21. And I want to talk about something that is deep, like deep into roots. I used to think that my identity was something that I built, right? Like from scratch. Like I couldn't understand who I was or wanted to be or become. But as I'm getting older, turn 39, hopefully getting wiser, realizing that I'm not building from scratch. I'm building on the bones of the women who came before me. My cultural heritage isn't just like food and language or traditions, it's the fire that I carry inside. The trauma that I'm healing. The strength I don't even know I have. The expectations I'm questioning. The wisdom I'm finally ready to receive. And get this, y'all, the wild part. I'm realizing that embracing my cultural heritage and my ancestral women isn't about going backward. It's about understanding what I'm converting from and what I'm converting into. And on this episode 21 of Girl Pursuit, we're talking about the women in my bones. The ones who made me, the ones who I'm honoring, and the ones I'm choosing not to become. I know that my ancestors didn't have like language for healing. All they really had was survival. They had strength, they had silence. And I'm converting that survival into thriving. That strength into softness when I need it. That silence into speaking my truth. Now, I talked to you about my mother's mother. I unfortunately do not know my great-grandmother from either side. And my mother's mother, who is called Nani Ami in the Urdu language. I am Pakistani. But when my grandmother was born, it was once India. And my grandmother, again, knowing and seeing and witnessing her power, how she was a very stern lady, very serious, very rare that she would laugh, but she was warm. Can't forget her rice and chicken, and her sevia. Sevia are rice noodles. They're sweet. It's from vermicelli noodles, if I'm saying that properly, if I'm pronouncing that properly. I miss and love that when she made it warm. Just to talk about my Nani. Her name was Ellem. E-L-L-E-M. Ellem. And she was married, if I'm hopefully not mistaken, at 14 years old. And by 16, and she married the boy that she would play with within her neighborhood, and they would call it their village. And that's my Nana Abu, which is grandfather in Urdu. He was amazing as well. I missed them both dearly. Now my Nani became a mother unwillingly at 16. Now, how did she become that mother? She became a mother to her sister-in-law. My grandmother's mother-in-law had died during birth of her, I forget what number, child, because traditionally and culturally, in that part of the world especially, and the Muslim religion, you just gave birth to however many kids that were bred. And it's sad when you think about that. Like, the women didn't have power over saying enough is enough. Like, I can't do it anymore. And that poor woman, my grandfather's mother, died giving birth. And obviously that took an insane toll on her body. And being in a third world country way back when, of course, there was no amenities to help save her. And my grandmother, freshly married, had to become a mom to very young sister-in-law and brother-in-law, and had to feed and cook and clean and take care of in a massive, massive, massive family that she was married into. And just hearing the stories of their struggle and what they couldn't just like say no to because it was cultural norm, right? And just knowing that, like, wow, just imagining like the fire that she had. That she had it, but it was the only way to survive. They weren't allowed to let their fire burn freely. So they banked it, they controlled it, they hid it. And I'm learning that part of honoring them is letting my fire burn the way theirs couldn't. Raising my daughter is showing me parts of my cultural heritage I want to pass down and which parts I need to release. Do I teach her to become strong and silent like the women before me? Or do I teach her that her strength can include vulnerability? I wonder if that's something we all can have discussions of. Our ancestors, our lineage. Why do we have such a fire in us to keep at it, keep going, or fight for justice, and have this compelling calling to make a change, to do better, to grow? Now, I know cultural heritage is a double-edged sword. On one side, there's like the belonging, the roots, the people, the pride, the wisdom. The other side is the expectations, the pressure. This is how we've always done it. The weight, the carrying of like the legacy that I didn't choose. And yes, profoundness. I can't heal generational trauma without understanding the generation. I cannot break patterns without knowing what the patterns are. And I can't honor my cultural heritage without also being honest about the parts that hurt. I know that there's something about connecting to my ancestral women that feels bigger than me. Like the universe is like trying to tell me, you come from a line of survivors, of warriors, of women who made impossible choices so you could be here. And that's empowerment I didn't have to earn. I inherited it. I wonder sometimes, like, why am I so much like this, of trying to make a change, do better, internal growth, show something, like something means something, like making sure that my kids know the value of the power within, giving my daughter the voice that I wasn't allowed to have, and just to imagine that I had the voice that I had, and I still rebelled, and I still fought to go to college, did the things I wanted to do, had to do, felt the need to do, and had the fucking courage to do. And I did it because I also had the resources to do so, and the tools and the knowledge. But behind me, or you could say the power that was pushing me. It had to have been my ancestors, the women that shaped me, that have shaped me. I know that the women before me didn't have it easy. But I know that I get to now, and it'd be a shame that I wouldn't take it by the horns and go with it, run with it, right? I had done a market a couple of months ago, and there was a lovely lady, I believe her name is Lisa, I had met, and she walked up to me and she said, I could see your ancestors behind you. And she was a spiritual woman, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. She into healing and rocks and properties and spirituality and understanding the higher self. And she said, I could see them behind you, like in a V shape. She said, about you, there's something about you. It's good. It's good. But the women behind you, they're all standing behind you with their arms crossed, like they're waiting for you to make the change. They're waiting for you to do something. And it brought me immense joy, immense like, whoa, okay, pressure as well, but also like, whoa, what do you see? And she's like, I see this glow around you. They're protecting you. And they're also waiting for you to make that change, to keep going, to do what they could not do. And yes, that's a gift, and damn, that's scary as well. For a really long time, I was trying to get away from, have been trying to get away from my culture, my roots, my heritage. I am coming to the realization that maybe I was I believe I was comparing and putting religion and culture on the same pedestal, on the same wavelength, as if I did not follow the religion to the way that it is supposed to be followed in the eyes of those believers, then the culture goes along with it. And also the shame. Growing up in New York, being teased and bullied for things that weren't true, being called certain names because of where I come from. And I remember feeling a fuel of anger. I remember feeling like, what is it? Like, I don't want to be associated with this. And that probably is the reason why I'm also not married to a Desi. A Desi is a person that is from a Southeast Asian descent, right? Like, you have your Pakistanis, your Indian, your Bangladeshi. You could even go a little broader to that. And my husband is Dominican. He's Caribbean. I've always just gravitated towards more different cultures, and not that I regret it. I love my husband. I love the life we have created. But it's just so interesting of like just wondering and questioning how did I get here? You know, like how did it all work out? And if I stayed, how would it have been? Like if I stayed within the cultural norm, right? I know my grandmother from my dad's side, she was a deaf mute, and her name is Aisha. And she had my dad only. Apparently, he also had a sister older than him, but she passed away. That's also an unknown mystery as to how. My grandmother, Aisha, was also a twin, but the twin also had died, but that twin also used to talk and hear just fine. My grandmother didn't. And that was also a mystery. It's funny because my mother conceived me before she got her tubes tied, but when she went to go get tested, you know, maybe it was too early to detect of pregnancy, and she got her tubes tied after having my sister, and little did they know she was pregnant with me. And I joke to my father and I say, I'm your reincarnated aunt. I'm your reincarnated Khala. Khala is aunt in Urdu. And he's like, "Yep, you're my aunt. You really are, because you always have a heck of a lot to say, and you're always talking, and you're always yapping, and you're always fighting, and you're always, 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 always." So it's interesting how that, and maybe that is that. Like, shit, I'm someone that's reincarnated that was meant to be here, even though I wasn't supposed to be here, but I'm here, and I'm here for a reason, and I'm here for change, and I am I am bound to make that change. I will. I relentlessly will. Pretty relentless person. It's interesting. I don't know if y'all feel that way. I don't know if someone has a similar story to mine. I don't know if I sound super interesting and or super weird. Like, how does this even happen to someone? But I know I'm honoring just the mere fact of, like, what if that is a possibility? That, we are reincarnated into someone new, and I am her, and I'm fighting for justice that she couldn't have. I don't even know her name. Wow. I wonder if my father does, but I'm sure if he knew the name, he would have shared it. Sad. And just to try to even understand a little bit of what my grandmother Aisha would have had gone through, while being a person that could not verbalize anything. Ugh. Maybe that's another reason why I'm here, why I'm doing this, while embracing the fire inside every girl is what it's supposed to be. Giving this platform, giving this microphone, my voice needed this microphone so I could share my story, so I could let someone feel less alone, so I can put it out there and say, listen to this. And this is a sense of fulfillment for me. And how I'm embracing the fire. As of late, I have been embracing my cultural heritage. And it's actually about choosing my identity, not inheriting it blindly. I'm choosing the pieces that I want to keep with me and to grow from this and keep going. It's interesting how we're all connected on a molecular level when you think about it. How connecting my lineage feels spiritual. It's cosmic. It's bigger than me. And I'm not doing this alone. I'm doing this with my ancestors. This is the empowerment that knowing that I'm a part of something ancient is unbreakable. The pursuit of identity, rooted in heritage, that I'm not confined by it, the pursuit of healing that honors my past without repeating it, the pursuit of becoming the ancestor my descendants will be proud of. This was a glimpse as to what I'm currently working on, and I am passionate about, and finding myself and finding meaning, value, my why. I hope that you can too. Maybe just listening to my story will make you think about yours and your ancestors and your why and your purpose. I hope that this is empowering enough to just open up that tab in your brain to start thinking, to go backwards and embrace. Whew, this was interesting. And like always, y'all, this is episode 21. And this is the end of episode 21. And as always, I bid y'all farewell. This is Amber Vargas, founder of Girl Pursuit. Take care.